Welcome everyone to this Spirit Gathering teleconference. Today is Tuesday, October 24th or October 21st of 2014. My name is Reverend Jeffrey Shaw, and tonight the topic or title of the call is going to be Getting a Renewed Perspective on the Well-Deserved, Beneficial, Multidimensional topic of time off. So we are so glad that you all have joined us this evening, and we are recording this call for people who could not be here with us and listen in tonight. So if you can just press *6 to mute your line to help keep the line quiet for us this evening, and that would be great. If this is your first time in joining one of these gatherings, there's a particular style that we're going to be following tonight. It's basically the conversation council, and so tonight we're going to be following that format where you can speak at any time, and we just ask that you take care in letting the current speaker who is speaking finish before you begin. There is one feature that anyone who talking can create, and that's called the pause. And if you're speaking and want the listeners or other people in the group to have a moment of pause so they can check in, tune in with themselves, and maybe ask, how will this benefit me most fully? What can we take away from this particular moment in time? And in receiving this energy, you can ask for a pause to be made. And I will serve as the guardian of the pause of the chime. This will be the chime. And at that point in time, we'll all stop and take 3 breaths and reflect, and then we will basically have another chime, and then we can resume the discussion. So that it's just kind of an opportunity for people speaking to have a reflection take place. The timekeeper for tonight is Topsoil, and he will basically remind us approximately 5 minutes before we're ready to wrap up as to the collective ending of our gathering, just so we can keep ourselves on time and in the present of keeping track of where we are in the evening. So at this point, we would like to do the invocation. And so if you can all just take a deep breath and relax. Good, and allow yourself to settle and center yourself, letting go of the events of the day and beginning to enter into a deeper, more sacred space within yourself. Let us imagine we are all joining together, our sacred hearts to sacred hearts, with every other person on this call right now. Let us imagine that we are joining together in a circle. And within that circle, there is a light or a flame or a fire within the center of the circle. Let us imagine in our mind that fire is emitting spokes or rays of light coming from the center of that circle and reaching to the point of each and every one of our hearts. Not only is it reaching out as spokes, creating a wheel to our hearts, but also reaching the hearts of those who might be listening to this recording hereafter. We are all connected, sacred heart to sacred heart. Now let us set our intentions. Listen to one another with compassion and curiosity. We ask that we be given what we need and offer what we can. May we deepen our connection with one another in the divine. May this sharing serve us, our communities, and the planet. And so it is. Good. So, the topic of this discussion tonight, again, is getting renewed perspective on what we all feel is well-deserved, beneficial, and, of course, multidimensional time off. And has anybody had a recent vacation lately? Wow, okay, so we're all in need of a little bit of time off.
I have. I did. Yeah, it took me a minute to start this.
Good. And so who's had some time off?
This is Sally.
Good, Sally. And someone else?
This is Star.
Star, good. Good. All right, well, we're going to come back to you. If you're willing to maybe lead off after I say a few words here and maybe share with us some of the beneficial aspects of taking time off and creating some more positive thinking, promoting creativity, or making more intelligent choices from your heart as you maybe went into a little more rest and rejuvenation. The one thing that in preparing for this that I ran across is a past World Economic Conference that the Thich Nhat Hanh was invited to come and speak to heads of state, world leaders, some of the top business people in the world. And the theme of the World Economic Conference was that everyone was committed to improving the state of the world. And as Thich Nhat Hanh was preparing for a few words, he was going to get up and kind of kick off the conference. And preparing what he was going to say, he approached the podium and looked up at the theme and expressed his interest to change the theme of the conference. And he expressed his interest to change it to committed to improving the state of every heart, from committed to improving the state of the world. And his communication and his message in that was that it was important for people to really drop into their heart center and find the love in the creativity and the compassion and the joy that they were from their heart. And from that space, the world could be improved for every heart, not just for man, but for all living creatures. And if the conference and the world leaders could come from a space of heart-centeredness, then therein would be the commitment and the power to improve the state of the world. And I thought that was a very powerful context for this conversation, because if we're willing to challenge the assumption that time spent relaxing and meditating or taking time off takes away from our realizing our other goals of maybe a successful career or successful relationships, that we can then be in a space of finding joy and love in what we're doing in our relaxation, in our meditation, in our time off, that fuels and creates our passions when we're in our life's work. So the paradox is, when we take time off for meditation, we're actually gaining much more in other areas of our lives. So a lot of people in today's society are wired up that the more you work, the more successful you become. But oftentimes, as we see as spiritual leaders, that often we lose sight of the real focus in following our heart's desires. So as we look at taking time off, we can move into seeing more creative possibility, having our innovation in our thinking and our spiritual guidance leading us into the choices we make, and making choices from our heart versus our minds, which can be influenced by outside circumstances. And from this space of heart-centeredness, finding success and satisfaction in all areas of our life. So, as we look at taking time off, self-care, meditation, and relaxation, what often comes up for people, how do I do this? How do I find the time? And how can I organize myself around this time off mentally and physically? So the word is to come from a heart space. Allow your heart to lead you into the spaces so you can renew and rejuvenate yourself. So what I'd like to do is go around. We have 9 people on the call. Maybe we just take a few moments each. And those of you who have recently had a vacation, some time to relax, rejuvenate in the multidimensional space of time off, getting more heart-centered, sharing with the group maybe some insights that you saw with respect to that could empower the rest of us in taking that time each and every day, if not daily, sometime devoted weekly, and eventually working up into daily, weekly, monthly breaks. So you're constantly renewing and reactivating yourself, getting in those spaces that are going to promote creativity and joy and happiness. And those of you who maybe haven't had a vacation recently, sharing with the group how someone else's experience will move you into that space, or what you may be feeling and that has limited you in the past from moving into that space, that we could all resonate with to see how we can transform that energy into a more positive space. So each of you could step forward if you feel that calling. And speak a few words.
Hi guys, it's Judy from Michigan. If I don't take the time that I need for myself, I feel bogged down. And at the same time, the thing that helps me the most is to, as my husband calls it, go out and play in the dirt. And the interesting thing is that after pretty close to 49 years of marriage, he has learned that that's one of the things that I need the most, and that's an ultimate gift from him to me, when he will intentionally find something else to do so that I can be outside playing in the dirt. And then you ask, what do I do in the wintertime? Well, here in Michigan, I go out and play in the snow. And for me, those times are grounding and uplifting. So my one symbol that always resonates with me is infinity. So I feel like I come full circle when I make sure that I have those times. Those times for me are very special. There are many other things that I do, but it seems to me, for me, it's nature. It's laying on top of the water and letting the water hold me, and it's like being put on another plane that rejuvenates me. Just like everybody else, I have lots and lots of things in my life that, quite frankly, I didn't figure that I was going to have the things going on that I do, and I have to take these things, these times and moments for myself. And those are the things that help me take my time out. Thank you.
Excellent.
This is Star. I'll take the opportunity to share a little bit about my vacation. It was mostly for fun. It was a birthday excursion with my sister, and we went and gambled at a casino. We took 24 for about 36 hours and just played, and we went up to Oklahoma, the land where I was born, and I got to see the country and breathe clean air. It was just real peaceful. And when I travel places, I try to always travel grounded, centered, and with my heart open. And it seemed like the whole little journey reflected that. And the casino was kind, and they let me break even for my birthday and come home with a little extra, so that was nice too. And what I found about it for me in retrospect, after what you shared, is that it totally energized me, and I saw an extra $1,000 in my income appear because I had extra energy and extra vitality. And so as much as it's important that we meditate and we take those kind of times, it's also important to take time off to play. Thank you. I'd like to ask for us to breathe on that for a minute, for 3 breaths.
Hello, this is Sally, and I kind of chuckled with the topic this evening because I feel like I'm on an extended kind of vacation, and within that I also took a vacation. I relocated down to Asheville this summer. And after many years of basically overworking, I decided to really take my time in setting up a new practice here and really just spending time each day working on the house, working on the gardens, exploring different places, creating new relationships, joining different groups. So, yesterday I played bridge in the afternoon, something I never would have done when working in New York City. So what I'm looking to do at this point in my life is to have more of these vacation moments interwoven into my week as it flows, through my life. And within all of this, I also scheduled a trip to California because my daughter has started school out there. And I decided instead of just going for, the time to go through her initiation, but to actually take time to visit friends and do other things that I wanted to. And, for me, I think taking a vacation is wonderful to get good food, and we have lots of yummy meals out there, and it's a beautiful city to just walk around and explore. But I think for me, vacation time is really special when I can connect with people that I really enjoy spending time with, especially if I don't get to see them that often. And so that for me was kind of the highlight of this trip, was seeing actually some of the Rose Lake friends that I have. I saw a man that I knew as a teenager, that he was from Sweden and I lived in Sweden. And so it was wonderful to get together with his wife and 2 daughters as they know my daughter. And lastly, I saw the daughter of one of my best friends who recently passed from cancer. So it just hit a lot of old chords in me. And, I guess part of, this self-nurturing is to to look at what does nurture me as an individual, me as a soul. And I think relationships are key. And, just different pampering. I mean, I got a facial, I got my nails done. The things that I don't always take time to do in my day-to-day. So that's my vacation.
Excellent. Thank you.
This is Nancy. This year for my vacation, my husband Ted and I went up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we went to a spot that we usually go to in September. One of the things that's so restoring and refreshing for us is to walk along Lake Huron, a long beach that's usually deserted, with our 2 labs, and just take in the beauty of nature. Nature unimpeded by billboards and noise, and the beauty is just almost overwhelming at times. I know last year we got to see the Northern Lights, which was spectacular. And on the other hand, the simplest activities like preparing a meal, taking time for the simplest chores, gathering kindling for a wood fire each night, all of those beautiful little rituals, humble as they are, take on a new beauty, I would say, depth. And I noticed that when we come back to the city afterwards, back to Cincinnati, we've had such a cleansing and a refreshing of our souls that we see our life back here through different eyes and are able to make some adjustments in our day-to-day and keep alive some of the newness that we experienced on vacation, and also discover some things that really do need changing in our day-to-day. I always look forward to going up north and usually feel the need for it months before it actually comes. But when it does come, it always feels like the right time. And just feels really important for our souls. So thank you.
Thank you.
This is Diane. I'm finding that the restorative part of life comes from creating space. And for me at least, that creating space in a co-creative way with spirit makes the space more beautiful and so much bigger and lush. And of late, I have in the mornings and in the evenings, committed to connecting really deeply with spirit, at the end of the day, and intention setting before I go off to sleep, and in the mornings before the craziness of a day, if it does get crazy, begins. And I find that there's something about the respect for spirit and that creates this openness and that heart thing that Thich Nhat Hanh was talking about, that it is a centering in the heart that helps to create space, I find, throughout the day. And I'm just feeling very grateful for increasing depth and connection and understanding of spirit. It's quite remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to share how time off has enhanced their life or relationship or careers, enhancement of experiencing community?
This is Julie. I haven't taken a lot of vacation time this year because I started a new job and I'm in a certification program in California. So any time I take off, I've been using it to go to this class. But a couple weeks ago, I had to work in Virginia and I decided to make a long weekend out of it. And I rented a cabin on top of a mountain in southwestern Virginia, and it was really beautiful. I work in New Jersey in a building with 5,000 people in it, so it was amazing to be out in nature, and it was amazing to get up at 5:30 in the morning and sit on the porch of this beautiful cabin and meditate. And when I was done, the sun had come up and I could see mountains all around me. And I'd arrived after dark, so I didn't know what the area looked like, and it was absolutely stunning. And then in the middle of the 3 days there, we went to this gorgeous park and hiked 10 miles over several mountains. It was pretty strenuous. But I think what I got from that weekend was the older I get, the more important it is to be out in nature and to be surrounded by beauty. And the other thing, and this is something I'm sort of exploring in my life, is I found the people in that part of the country to be really kind and wanting to connect. I mean, people kept walking up to us, like in the grocery store or on the street, and just talking. And in New Jersey, that doesn't happen. So I guess I left that experience appreciating sort of cultural differences and a much, much slower pace of life, and really feeling how rejuvenated I felt from just being in nature and beauty.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
This is topsoil. I can share. What I'm thinking about in regards to the question, like in terms of like getting more heart-centered, building more awareness there, it's not so much time off. It's really more practice. It's really more doing things that are focused that way. I've been doing some Qigong practices that work with, some of the, different organs and energy centers according to that system, but some of them specifically with the heart. And I find that really helpful in getting into more of a heart space. I think it's easy for me, like on vacation or time off, to just stay in my head. Like having time off doesn't necessarily help me get heart-centered. So it's nice to have practices that do help build that awareness. I think the other big practice for me that way are Amy and Athabaskar's golden balls. That's also really helpful. And I agree with, I have similar experiences with other folks, like going into nature really helps ground and center and, have a more expansive point of view. Here in San Francisco, I love going out to Land's End, out to the beach, and listen and smell the waves, smell the ions in the air from the ocean, from the waves, that kind of thing I like a lot. Also, other practices help with that too. Having a regular yoga practice really helps me be more in my body, and get good endorphins flowing through the system, as well as other stuff too. It's not just that, but that's a quick and easy way to say it. So that's what I'd share.
anyone else like to share their thoughts, even if it's not in relation to necessarily their experience of time off, but in response to what everyone else has said?
This is Taylor, and I've appreciated what everyone else has said, and it's been useful to see time off through everyone else's eyes. I especially liked what Nancy said. I felt like that could be a book, really. I felt like I was reading a book. I was upset when she stopped because I wanted to know what was going to happen next. But anyways, I just recently had some time off in upstate New York, the theme of which was to just be in autumn and appreciate autumn colors, and it was a prime autumn color time, and the people who live there say one of the best, so I feel honored to be able to have taken all that in, and it really feels to me like, having come back from that, like I have taken it in, that it's kind of like how I feel when I really get outside and absorb sun during the summertime. Like I feel like I'm storing it up like a solar battery for when there is no sun, and I feel like that with this last autumn leaf trip, because now all the leaves are kind of off the trees, but rather than being like, oh dear, all the leaves are off, I feel like, well, I took in so much of that, of experiencing autumn really fully, that I'm not feeling a loss. I feel filled up with that. And, I can see that that's something I really appreciate about having time off, is just being able to fill up with the things maybe I don't give myself the time to do regularly. Just have to have that concentrated time to really just take it in that deeply really serves to me somehow a base carry that. And that's really, really important. So that's just what I wanted to share.
Thank you. We have a few more moments. If anyone else would like to share, we'll leave that opportunity open for a moment or two more. Good. Well, I certainly appreciate everything that everyone had to contribute. And, everything that was mentioned here, I could fully experience and take in a multidimensional way. And it was almost like with each sharing, I lived through many of my opportunities to take time off and renew and refresh myself. And for me personally, one of my ongoing challenges has always been in running and having my own business and taking extended periods of time off and really serving myself and taking the time to recharge and regroup and renew is continuing to keep things moving forward and producing income and producing results in the physical world. And long ago, I just kind of solved that whole problem by making a commitment that whenever I decided to take time off, that what the universe would support me in making that choice was to make more income and have more inflows of abundance and prosperity than if I didn't take time off. And I just put that out into the universe and said, declared it as this is the way it's going to be, because I know the importance of taking the time off and renewing and refreshing. And I wanted it to also to provide that equal energy exchange and flow back to me more than what I was expecting. And it's really amazing the results that declaration has produced in the universe for me on each trip. It's almost as soon as I decide that I'm going to take a vacation or take time off, I am immediately flooded with a whole new book of business and phone calls and people wanting to get new jobs produced. So it's been a kind of a confirmation to me that it's of the importance of the universe really wanting to support me in taking in all the best that it has to offer, that all of you've said, really being in a heart space, experiencing nature, having exceptional relationships, having wonderful food and taking that in on a spiritual and energetic level, having conversations, just appreciating people when I'm out there in the world or in a new city or in a new place of finding love and all these people that I meet and really taking away what beauty there really is out there that I don't necessarily get to experience on a day-to-day level sitting in front of my computer or working in an office. So for me, the reassurance of finding that flow and space of filling myself up and receiving back from the universe the confirmation that it's all in a balance and a flow is where I tend to make my decisions for more time for rejuvenation and relaxation. So thank you all for sharing and participating. And at this point, I'd like to close and thank you all and for all your experiences, for sharing and giving all this valuable and energetic insight to everyone here on the call. So in closing, thank you for joining the Spirit Gathering. This call will be archived as an MP3 at www.tzaddi.org Phone access to the recording is available until the next month's call. And for the playback of the recording, you can dial in the 712-432-1085 and use the access code of 990-322-pound. We hope you join us for our next spirit gathering, which will be on November 18th, 2014. These calls are hosted by Tzaddi, and Tzaddi is an international interspiritual metaphysical organization founded in California in 1964. Tzaddi welcomes, nurtures, and supports people in celebrating and more directly experiencing their relationship in the loving presence of the divine. Our programs are open to people of any race, color, nationality, or ethnic origin. And to learn more, again, you can visit www.tzaddi.org. We will close now with a thanks and a blessing. Thank you first and foremost to the Tzaddi founders, Amy Keys and Dorothy Blackmere. Thank you all who have been part of this community tonight and ongoingly. And we thank the divine who supports us always, even when we are not aware of it. So with this, we send out a great wave of love and blessings to all of you and wish everyone a good night. Thank you.